She suddenly grabbed his clothes, and before he could react, she tore them apart. He stood there completely stunned. The next second, she turned and walked away. As he watched her retreating figure, his mind flashed back to earlier that morning when he had arrived at the company with his boss to discuss a potential partnership. Right after entering the building, they had gotten lost. She happened to be passing by at that moment. Not knowing who she was, he had asked her for directions. After learning they needed to get to the conference room, she told them to follow her. However, the three men weren't exactly respectful. They deliberately slowed their pace and walked behind her, making comments about her figure. She led them into the conference room, and the boss even asked her to make coffee. While she was preparing the coffee, the three men started gossiping about her, saying the person in charge had been divorced twice and had a terrible temper. Just as they were discussing this, she suddenly turned around and put on her name badge. The moment they saw the name on it, they were struck speechless. She was the very person in charge they were supposed to meet. Seeing their shocked expressions, she deliberately corrected them, stating it was actually 3 divorces. The boss became even more embarrassed and quickly urged him to present the product. When he handed over the product, she opened it only to discover it was broken. Seeing this, he frantically pulled out a sample, but in his nervousness, he dropped samples all over the floor. She lost her patience and turned to leave. The boss panicked and shoved him forward. He lost his balance, and the lanyard of his badge ended up catching around her neck. As he struggled to free himself, he accidentally tore her clothes. She spun around furiously and glared at him. He awkwardly turned away. She stormed out of the conference room in her torn clothing and headed straight to the manager's office, demanding that the partnership be terminated. However, the manager refused. She knew the manager had taken a bribe and threatened to expose what she knew. Upon hearing this, the manager grabbed a glass of water and threw it at her. Without hesitation, she grabbed her own glass and hurled it right back. Meanwhile, after the failed negotiation, the boss vented all his frustration on him and ordered him to find a way to salvage the situation. He had no choice but to bring new clothes as a peace offering. However, she didn't even glance at the clothes, she simply tore his shirt apart, leaving him utterly humiliated. Unable to continue working, he made his way to the company rooftop. Just as he was wallowing in his despair, a colleague rushed over with news that there might still be a chance. The colleague had heard rumors that her personal life was quite messy and that she typically arranged business meetings at hotels first. The colleague suggested he take advantage of this information. Soon after, his phone buzzed. Sure enough, it was a message from her. He quickly made his way to the hotel and knocked on the door. When she opened it, she was wearing a nightgown. He followed her inside.